Hello everyone and welcome back to Is It Peak? Today we're discussing Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1. Joining me for this discussion is Bailey.
Hello.
And Dylan.
Hello.
Well, gentlemen, before we dive into this very interesting season, I feel like we should first establish our thoughts on the show. Are we fans of the show? Are you a fan of the show, Dylan?
It's alright.
It's alright. Is Bailey a fan of the show?
I definitely was.
You were? Oh no. What's your favourite season?
I'd say season 1 is still my favourite.
Is that the only one you can remember? What about you, Bailey?
I think probably season 2.
I'm also a season 2 fan, which is the most unpopular opinion, I think.
I cannot remember a single thing from season 2.
There was like tunnels underground.
And a pumpkin patch.
Yeah, not the first episode. So, what did we think of this season? Initial thoughts, good or bad? Bailey, go.
I mean, pretty good, like better than most other just shows on Netflix, but overall, not my favourite season by any means.
I think it was very different. Initially, I thought it was not very good.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Yeah, I didn't understand anything to do with Vecna, and I was like, why are they just introducing this totally different villain for no reason, who's obviously some kind of human? And I thought it was going to be some bizarre thing shoved in, but it's I think the way they revealed it at the end made me like the season a lot more.
Yeah, that last episode definitely helped. In the trailers, when they showed Vecna, people thought that it was going to be Billy. for some reason.
Or maybe because he got all stabbed up by that monster and Vecna had all the tentacles sticking out of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was like that and they're coming off him. I'm not one doing visual things, you can't even see it. But basically with this season, kind of like season 3, there's 3 or 4 or 5 separate plot lines that are mostly completely separate. And they're still separate because this season hasn't concluded yet. But I would say the main one would be what's going on in Hawkins with Vecna. Definitely the best part of the season for me. What are our thoughts on that plotline? Vecna, evil monster man. How's he compared to the flesh thing from season 3? I think he's definitely probably the best one just because he actually talks. Yeah,
being personified definitely adds a level of villainy where it's not just a beast doing beast things.
Yeah, and also just the fact that giant flesh mind flayer personification thing was just running around no one knew about it.
Yeah.
I was rewatching it yesterday and there's a part where it's going through the forest and it's giant. It's 100 meters big and it goes into the mall and all that shit and no one else knows about it.
It was just a fire that killed 30 people.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that I found not so good until the last episode was not understanding what his motives were or where he came from. So it's just kind of confusing. There's just this guy killing people all of a sudden for no reason, but then you obviously find out why.
Well, yeah, I think the mystery this season of who Vecna is and what his motives are, definitely, I guess we still don't know what his motives are.
I think his motives are kind of dumb. They explain it he found a nest of black widow spiders in his attic, or not in his bathroom or something, hiding nesting in a vent. And he's oh, black widows, these are kind of like me. They're solitary and they're predators, and they bring order to the ecosystem. That without them, it would be chaos because everything would be out of balance. And it's I'm the black widow. I bring balance by killing people and stuff. And it's you could have chosen any predator, but you went for a black widow. It's a spider. It doesn't do much.
Yeah, the spiders are scary and make a good visual.
That's why the black widows are in all people's hallucinations. Because it's his thing. He really likes black widows. He had them in jars in his attic.
Yeah.
And they find them and Steve has one crawling on his shoulder at some point.
Yeah, that was a very amusing scene.
Seeing the spiders definitely reminded me of that one-off episode in season 2 where there was the other person with powers and she made people see spiders occasionally.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot she even did that. What was that, a power? It was making people see things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I don't think I've seen that episode since I first watched the show. I always skip it.
What about Vecna's whole symbolism thing with the grandfather clock? What do you think of that?
Well, is the clock just meant to be oh, your time's running out? I mean, he does say that to Max, I think.
Yeah, I think
your time alive is at an end or something. Yeah. Is that just it? And also grandfather clocks are weird and scary.
I hated that sound effect that was played every time.
No, it's a cool sound effect.
It was good at first, but when we played it for 100 times, it was just awful. It's like every time, like, boom, it's like, shut up.
No, it's a cool clock sound. And people already saying, because apparently in season 1 or 2, during one of the upside down scenes, you can hear a clock at some point, just like a random clock tick. So people are like, oh my god, it was playing from the beginning.
Connections.
Even though I'm pretty sure they never even planned for Stranger Things to make it past season 1. But now people are saying that the Duffer Brothers have planned it all out from the start.
Oh wow.
Even though they couldn't decide if they were doing 4 or 5 seasons until like season 4.
But I saw this theory about the grandfather clock. You know the therapist that all the kids who are possessed go.
Oh yeah,
went to see?
she's in on it.
She has a necklace that has a clock on it, and then it's like the connection is kind of like all the kids that got possessed went to see her, and like in the show it's portrayed as they did that because they were all having hallucinations and stuff, so they all went to see the therapist. But then the theory is it could be the other way around. People that went to her got possessed because they went to see her for whatever reason, and then like she's somehow connected to it all.
But they saw things before they went to see her.
True.
So you're saying random people can just see things, but they won't get cursed until they go to her and she curses them.
Well, we'll see. Well, I really liked the reveal at the end where it's like you think it's 11 the whole time, and like I always thought it was just going to be her killing them all, and I was like, well, waiting to like find out why she did it. I thought it was going to be like, oh, she got bullied until she killed them all.
Which they set up when she fucking murders someone with a roller skate. Well, not murders.
That was good. Like, I don't get why, like, in the show, it's like, oh, you know, Elle, she's a monster kind of thing. Or like, oh, she thinks she could be a monster. And like, everyone's like, oh, Elle, why would you do that? It's like, she was so justified in doing it. Like,
doing that to that cartoonishly evil person. The entire roller skate rink was in on it.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
They were all like spinning
around. It was spinning around and chanting and stuff. Like the DJ was in on it. It's like, why do all these people hate Elle so much?
Because she's a snitch.
So like there's like 30-year-old DJ who has no relation to any other people. It's like, yeah, fuck that snitch.
Maybe Angela's rich and she paid him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that Elle has her powers back, I think she's definitely going to come back and fucking murder her.
She's going to go back and kill the bully.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole like mystery of who Vecna is, what his motivations are, definitely better than whatever the mystery was, because there's always like a mystery of season 1 where Will is, what's the upside down, all that shit. Mystery of season 2, was there even a mystery?
Which is sort of like, what was the infection sort of like affecting the outskirts of town, I suppose.
Yeah, and then season 3's mystery was Russians under the Stockholm Wall.
Well, surely in season 2, like I guess it's like revealed to us, but like they all think Elle's dead.
And that's not really a mystery.
No.
I mean, like mysteries for the audience to discover as the show goes. I guess just like the mysteries, like how does it all fit together, like the tunnels and Dustin's pet that turns out to be a demodog, and then there's other demodogs.
D'Artagnan.
But yeah, and then the mystery season 3 was just Russians under the mall.
And then somehow Hopper goes through the portal underneath the mall, and there's Russians on the other side of the portal already, and then they get from there to Russia somehow. So what do they like planes upside down?
We could talk about that later, but let's just talk about that now. How Hopper survives. I don't think he even goes through the portal. I think he just jumps off. He just jumps off that railing and just lands on the ground and just survives for no reason at all.
No, he definitely goes through the portal.
Does he?
He's in the upside down.
Okay, so no, he's not.
Yeah, he goes through the portal. He doesn't just land on the floor because Joyce is in there. There wouldn't be Russians in there if Joyce is in there. They killed them all. So he went through the portal and there were Russians on the other side of the portal, just standing there.
So you're telling me on the other side of the portal, there's an identical thing that they have? Because it shows like the wreckage of the machine that got blown up, and then like where Hopper is.
I'm gonna pull the scene up.
I'll pull it up.
Because it would make no sense for there just to still be just Russians on the other side who did not run into Joyce or any of the other people, and then they capture Hopper and then leave that area without being seen, and then somehow get to Russia or whatever.
I think that's plausible. The unplausible fact is, if that is what happened, why didn't Hopper also turn into goo like everyone else did? Because when the machine blows up, there's like people watching and they just turn into goo. But Hopper's just fine.
I was certain that the only way he survives is by going through the portal.
Hello, this is Editor Marcus from the future speaking. At this point we watch the Hopper scene again, and I can confirm that he definitely does not go through the portal. And now back to the show.
Well, that just makes no sense then, because all the Russians died.
And the explosion plus the like falling an amount of meters.
Well, it kind of factors into the greater thing of why the fuck did they even bother to make him still alive? What does Hopper add to this season other than shenanigans?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the whole Russian side plot.
I kind of hated it.
But they got Dmitri. Jack and Hagar.
I like Jack and Hagar. I don't know, this season did not justify Hopper's inclusion at all.
Well, I mean, the new plot with, what's her name, Joyce, This is the first time I actually liked her character at all for the entire show.
I do like Joyce and Murray going on a wacky adventure, flying. I thought they were just going to fly straight to Russia, but no, they fly to Alaska first.
Yeah.
And then fly to Russia from there.
It's because they had to go to Yuri's fish and chips or whatever.
Yeah, and then
It was just an airport.
and they drugged them with evil coffee.
Yeah.
Murray uses his karate skill.
Yeah, which was set up in episode 1 or 2.
And conveniently, Murray looks exactly like Yuri.
Yeah, if he just shaves like his beard. He's like, I'm assuming they haven't met Yuri before,
No.
so he can kind of get away with it.
Oh, yeah, the Russians. Although some of them have gotten, like, contraband from him, so if you happen to run into a guard that knew Yuri, then, like...
Oh no, maybe it's never a face-to-face transaction.
Or even if it was, like, speaking up would mean that you're admitting to buying that contraband.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we've talked about the Hawkins plotline. Now let's talk about the California plotline, which starts as one thing, then splits into two when 11 goes off on her own. But we'll talk about when they're all together for the first, 2 or 3 episodes. What are our thoughts on that wacky group of characters?
I kind of hated it a lot.
Yeah. I think Bailey said he likes it.
Yeah, I'm quite the minority on this one, I think. And I just liked it because it felt like there were more character moments for the sake of character moments rather than character moments that were only there to facilitate the plot to some degree.
But there are scenes that I like when Mike and 11 have a kind of an argument. And I like when she kills someone with a roller skate. I like that part. Oh, and I like the scene when they get home after the roller skate incident and Murray's there and he's made risotto.
Yeah.
Or risotto. Is that how they pronounce it in America?
Yeah.
Risotto? I like that scene.
Yeah, I like it
where
when
Jonathan's drugged out of his mind.
Yeah, once Murray shows up, I like that plot line.
Yeah, Murray's the best character, which means he's definitely going to die.
No.
I just feel like the writers didn't care much about California either, and that's why
No.
They just did it because clearly all the focus was on the Hawkins plotline, because almost everything there is very good. Well, yeah, in the Hawkins plot, there's several characters with lots of shit going on, mainly Max. And in California, other than 11, they're all just rejects at this point. Mike used to be the main character of the show, but at this point he's just a man. He's just a guy.
Yeah, well, there's not really any main character apart from Elle at this point.
Yeah, it's just a giant ensemble at this point.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't count or anything, but honestly, how many lines did Will have this whole season?
And how many of them weren't lusting over Mike? I can't believe they're just doing it. Everyone was like, oh my god, Will and Byler. Will and Mike, Byler, that's the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Funny fan meme. And then the writer's like, oh, let's do it.
I don't know where they're going to go with it though, because
He's going to come out to Mike in the last episode and show him what he painted him.
It'll just be it's going to be a naked portrait of Mike.
It's going to be scat fetish rule 34 of Mike.
But I don't know where they're going to go with it, because he's the only gay male character. So it's just going to be oh, I'm gay, okay. And then that'll be it.
And then Eddie Munson will reveal he's also gay. or Argyle.
No, but Argyle's with Eden.
Yeah, the best character. What are our thoughts on Argyle? I found him to be quite annoying, but also kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Well, yeah, the two new characters this season are pretty much just Eddie and Argyle. For the first episode, I kind of hated Eddie because he was really annoying.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was a big fan of him.
Yeah.
Which means he's definitely going to die.
Every new character always dies.
Yeah.
Argyle and Eddie are going to get blown up or something.
I don't think Argyle's going to die. Although I hope he does, because I don't want to see him be a mainstay for the next season.
Yeah. Unless they do a thing where he's annoying at first, but they build his character with Steve or something.
But Steve was cool from the get-go.
Oh yeah, Steve was a cunt.
I mean, he was a bit of a bitch, but he was still cool.
No one liked Steve in the first season.
Yes,
maybe at the very end of the first season, it's oh, maybe he's not that bad after all.
I like Steve. I like terrible people. I mean, what bad stuff did he really do other than smashing Jonathan's camera, which was kind of deserved because he did take pictures of Nancy getting naked while hiding in a bush.
Well, he's just an asshole, and it's very uncomfortable when he has sex with Nancy.
Oh yeah, that scene is...
It was borderline day rape.
Oh my god, it kind of is. And that Steve's played by a 30-year-old. Well, he's 30 now, but he wouldn't have been 30 back then. I feel like Nancy's actor's a couple years younger at least.
Mm.
Yeah, I only found out he was 30 now the other day, and that was a big surprise to me.
Well, yeah, people were saying, oh, all the kids look too old.
Except
now.
for Dustin.
And Max, I would say.
Oh
Yeah, Max looks very youthful.
She looks the same. pretty much.
Mike looks like a 30-year-old drunk.
Will looks terrible. I swear the haircuts get worse every season for Mike and Will.
Michael his hair's just disgusting. It looks like greasy.
Yeah. In season 3, they were still trying to keep his normal bowl cut, so they like straighten his hair, but it's like this. And then in season 4, apparently his hair's like that because he's trying to grow it to be cool like Eddie, but he's not quite there yet. That's why it looks like that. And also because Finn Wolfhard's hair in real life is just kind of like that.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to cut it, I guess.
He looks so thin, like he's got like his jawline just sticking out.
He's very gangly.
Look like a Holocaust survivor.
Oh my god. But yeah, California plotline, yay or nay? Dylan?
Mid.
Still yay for me, I think.
Yeah. Well, and now we need to talk about, because they're all together at first and then they split off. 11 goes off and becomes the 11 show. And then the rest of the rejects are just, they got nothing to do basically.
Yeah, that's when I started liking the plotline. Because then they got like that scene where that agent just like shoots up all those soldiers coming in.
That scene was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like the best scene. That was in the best episode as well, episode 4. Oh no, I just was not expecting it because the California plotline was just snooze.
Yeah.
And then they throw in this long take, like handheld craziness, and there's like no music. One of the Asian guys gets like captured, and the other one just dies. And then in the other episodes, they like keep cutting back to the guy who's captured, and they're like torturing him to find out where 11 is. They were locking him in the Chokey from Matilda.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the point of it was. Like, they put him in a metal box. Were they like heating it up or something?
Or like making it smaller slightly, I'm not sure. It had to be more than just putting him in a box for a
Well,
while.
I mean, he held out for quite a bit, but it seemed to not be.
He came out of the box and he was like covered in way more blood than when he went in. So like he was bleeding when he was in there. So
Maybe it's like the Chokey on steroids and it's just like spikes on all the walls. So you have to like stand very still, and if you move, you just hit a spike. And then 11 goes off with Dr. Owens from season 2, who was in season 3 for like one shot at the end.
yeah, I did not remember who Dr. Owens was in season 4. Like, who was this?
Well, yeah, the recap of Star Season 4 only shows what goes on in season 3. I feel like they could have curated it more to show like returning characters, so they could have shown some season 2 stuff as well.
Yeah, I kind of remembered who he was after like him and Elle were talking for a while. It's like, oh, he's the guy that dropped off Elle to Hopper.
Yeah.
Or something.
His character is quite peculiar, especially this season, because in season 2, like, obviously at the first you're meant to think, oh no, he's another bad guy, but then he's an alright bloke.
And now he's kind of a bad guy again.
He's
ambiguous.
He's got good intentions, but he's still just letting
Just
Dr.
straight up.
Brenner just come in.
Betrayed Elle, which is like straight up.
I swear he straight up said to her, oh, we won't have any shit like that this time.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same.
And then there was like the thing where like, oh, you can leave at any time, we're not keeping you here.
And then she tries to run
Yeah,
away.
she tries to run away and they keep her. And then again, Brenna's like, the door's always open, you can leave. And it's like, she tried to escape twice, and both times you literally forced her to stay.
No, the second time she willingly came back.
Oh, well.
Because he was like, oh,
Kind of.
you kind of got your powers back, but you don't really, so come and get them back fully. And she's like, okay.
She manipulates her.
Yeah. Well, the very first scene of this season sets up that whole plot. It's like a flashback or something
Yeah.
to the Brenner phase. I think it's like 1979, they said.
Yes.
With all the other number people, except we don't see What's-Her-Face from the Lost Sister episode, I don't think. I guess, are they ever going to bring that plotline back?
Definitely not.
No, it was just so hated.
I forgot that happened again, like until like I saw like a recap video, and Cam was like, "Oh, I remember that. It was the worst thing ever." But at least now they're kind of like introducing a thing of like there are others, so like they can say like, "Oh yeah, they just went away," but like they exist still.
Well, do any others exist beside 11 and her?
Not that we're part of the experiment, but I suppose the existence of these people implies that they'd be like others.
Yeah.
Although,
Wait, no, but didn't at the end when they do the big explanation, because Vecna's number 1, was he just born with the powers?
yeah, he was, but didn't they say that the
They like
others were,
got his blood or something.
Yeah, they were like clones or like genetic like experiments they used. They took his DNA and implanted it into women, who then gave birth to all the other children.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I thought they just put it into the babies, but no, because 11 was born with the powers.
Yeah.
Because they had the whole thing in season 2 about her mother being a psycho weirdo. Is she still just sitting in a chair in that house?
Probably.
They gotta bring her back as well. They gotta bring everyone back. Because there's not enough characters in the show right now. We need more of them.
We should bring
I
them
will
all back.
say though, the amount of characters was really worrying to me. But I feel like they managed it pretty well. It's just that some of them...
It's because most of them died. Like Chrissy and that nerd from the newspaper.
Fred.
With Patrick. The black guy that got killed in the lake.
Oh yeah, that was Patrick. And what's the other guy's name? The jock guy? Starts with J, I think.
I mean, the one who's like a crazy religious person.
Who thinks Eddie's a Satanist.
Yeah. He's been gone for a couple episodes.
No, he was in the last episode.
Was he?
I think. Was the last episode the one where they had the Hawkins, like the town hall meeting?
I thought that might have been the second last
Or
episode.
maybe it was the second last. I feel like it was the last.
Maybe. Or they are very long episodes, so I could
They are
be
very,
confused.
very long episodes.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing in one sitting as soon as it came out, and I was kind of exhausted by the time it was
It's
done.
like 8 hours.
Well, I watched season 3 in one sitting, and that was
Oh my
mostly
god.
fine.
I watched it with my dad, and like every episode he commented like, oh, this is quite boring. They're dragging this out quite a bit. It's like, just shut up and watch it.
I know, I feel like the episodes definitely justify their length. Like, there's so much shit going on. There's like 15 different plot
He
lines.
just couldn't stop saying how much they were dragging it out. And then when it was over, he's like, oh, I feel empty.
Well, it's not over, there's still 2 more episodes.
Yeah, but it's like another month away.
I really liked seeing the like police characters come back and seeing how they were behaving without like Hopper's influence.
Oh yeah, they're like the best side characters from like season 1 and 2, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're in like one scene in season 3. We have a black guy's the chief now, which
Yeah.
I expected. And the other guy's still just hopeless.
Yeah, being a little goofy.
A scene where he like goes up to knock on the kid's door and he's like putting on a weird voice. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's being a bit of a perv.
Pedo.
It's going to be very awkward when Joyce and Hopper and whatnot inevitably come back to Hawkins.
Yeah, and then
I was
Hopper
like,
dies.
hey guys, I'm back. I know I died in that fire, but...
Hopper's gonna be back for 5 minutes and then die again. Well, there's a scene where he says, like, he's like all depressed and then he's like, oh, like a bit hopeful, and he's like, maybe I can help Elle somehow.
It's the last thing I
Even if it's
do.
the last thing I do. It's like, wow, foreshadowing.
He's not going to
Very
fucking die
subtle.
again.
Why not?
They already did that.
Yeah, so?
But will this be the season when they finally kill Steve?
I feel like
No.
quite possibly.
It's not looking good for him, but this is kind of irrelevant at this point. But during the marketing for season 3, there was a quote by Sean Levy, one of the directors on the show, or Sean Levy, and he said he'll walk off the show if Steve dies. So if Steve does die, and that's still in effect, I'm saying he dies next season 5.
Maybe it could be something like Steve is going to sacrifice himself, but then Eddie takes his place. Because Eddie's whole thing is like, oh, I'm a coward, you know, I'm so scared, I always run away. So they're obviously setting him up to do something.
Eddie is very likely gonna die.
So I feel like it could be like, because Eddie kind of like says like, Steve, like, oh, I know you're all brave or whatever, so he's gonna sacrifice himself in place of Steve.
Yeah, the only thing I have for Steve dying is that where else is there for his character to go at this point? Like, he's just the coolest, most awesome guy ever now. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that he doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, and he's getting a girlfriend. Maybe he'll get a girlfriend in like the last episode and then die instantly.
The next 2 episodes, the next one's another hour and a half episode, like episode 7.
Great.
And then the last episode is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh dear.
So a lot of shit can happen, I guess.
Wait, so Mike and Jonathan, are they just like driving to Hawkins at this point?
They're driving to the lab, the new
Yeah.
lab.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because they got the code from Susie.
Oh,
Well, I guess
cool.
they're going to rock up just at the moment that 11 breaks out. Unless they're going to go in and break her out. Or maybe she just gets her powers and it's just like, okay, you can leave now.
Yeah, well, I got a feeling that like she's gonna get her powers back as soon as the military arrives, and then she's
I
gonna,
can't... Does she not have her powers back yet?
Well,
I thought she did.
no, she kind of got them back, and then she regressed, and then she like got to the point where she's like, oh, she did it. She like, you know, she remembered and stuff. So
Oh yeah, but then it just ends. The
yeah,
episode just
so
ends
we
before.
don't know.
So she most likely has her powers back or get them back very soon.
Yeah,
And then she's going to come out and based on some of the clips I've seen from Volume 2, there's like a couple shots. And from a trailer for Season 4, which had shots from Volume 2, she's probably going to fucking blow up that lab.
great.
And then hitch a ride back to Hawkins, I guess, with
Yeah.
the gang.
But then like the military knows where she is, so like
Oh, maybe she'll blow them up then.
maybe.
Yeah. She'll just fucking annihilate all those people.
And like Mike and that will be waiting outside in a van to get in and drive away.
Yeah. And then Argyle will say like, whoa!
They'll be
Who's
playing.
this?
They'll be playing that song like past the
Pass
duchy.
it on. My sister said that she was very annoyed because that song was just like stuck in her head because they play it in like every single Argyle scene.
Yeah, they just couldn't afford to have another song about drugs.
That was era appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of music, the soundtrack for this season, obviously the standout is the Kate Bush song.
Yeah. Which is going to get played to death now.
It already has been.
Oh no.
It's like number 1 on iTunes.
I think best soundtrack yet. For
Well,
me
I can't
personally.
even remember any of it. If we're speaking songs that already exist, not score, like I can't remember any other songs, but I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, it was
to that
just that one on Pass the Dutchie. That's all I can remember.
I had like Psycho Killer by Talking Heads, which I'm a fan of. And just like running that against season 1 with the big standout being like The Clash, I just didn't really care for it.
Should I go?
Yeah.
I liked that song at first, but I don't like it anymore.
No, I didn't really like it.
Especially when I brought it back in season 2, I was like, this is cool, but don't bring it back again, and then they didn't, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it in the show kind of, in the way they used it, but
Yeah.
the song itself was mid.
Have we even talked about what actually goes down in the 11 plotline yet? I feel like we've been skirting around it, or gone sidetrack.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it.
Okay, so basically 11 goes back with Dr. Owens because he gave a really good speech with some epic music about how they're fucked unless they use this child. The whole tone of that was kind of weird, like, yo, we're completely fucked and you're the only one that can help us. And you're just like a random child who yesterday smacked someone in the head with a roller skate.
I thought it was kind of weird when he's like, a war is coming to Hawkins. Like, how do you know? Like, do you know something that we don't? Because like,
well, he looked at the photos of the killings, but like that's it.
yeah, but like a war is coming to Hawkins. It's like, what? A serial killer.
Hawkins is in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, what storm? He doesn't know anything, unless he knows something that we don't.
No, he definitely doesn't.
So then
He's just
silly.
I feel like he's just going to get blown up. I think he's just going to die, honestly, next episode.
It's like the speech was just dramatic for the sake of being dramatic, but it was just like saying things.
I mean, that scene was pretty fucking awesome. It was hype as hell.
What is the future for Brenner's character?
Death.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother to explain how the fuck he survived, because last time we saw him, correct me if I'm wrong, a Demogorgon was like...
Above his head.
Yeah, was like going to jump at him. And then he shows up, not a scratch on him, hair looks lovely.
Like what happened was, so there's soldiers there like shooting the Demogorgon in the hallway, and then he's like just standing there, and then it like jumps through like the front of the camera onto him and like out of frame.
Oh, does it actually jump onto him?
Yeah, it jumps onto him, but like the soldiers are still there and alive, so I guess like they'll say like, oh, they shot it off of him or something like that.
Or maybe Brenner also has powers. But yeah, like in the Nothing episode of season 2, like there's some character who says like, oh, Brenner's still alive. So it wasn't like a surprise or anything that he's back, plus they didn't even fucking try to hide it in the marketing.
Yeah. Mm.
Are they even going to explain it? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Unless it like ends up mattering.
Yeah.
By some means.
I just wish he had like some like cool scar on his face or something. He looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make us sympathize with him to some extent?
I think a little bit. They're trying to like redeem his character by like showing him be like, you know, nice with the kids and stuff. Even though it's really
and
weird.
the reason he was a dick to 11 is because he thought he murdered all of them.
Which I mean is reasonable ground.
Yeah, but he's still a bit of a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he still did have all these children just in a lab, and he definitely would not let them walk out the door.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those like flashbacks in the lab stuff, that was like the low point of the show to me.
Yeah,
I know for a lot of people that's like the best stuff. But for me, I just don't give a fuck. I don't care about that stuff, honestly.
It was cool at the very start when like everyone just dies and it's like very violent. It's like, oh yeah, cool, but then they keep going back to it over and over and over and over. It's like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah, they show it in excruciating detail like every single day of what's going on. And like we know what's going to lead up to. Did anyone, I know you said, but did anyone think that at the start when they show 11 and it was like, oh my god, she murdered all of them. Did anyone actually think she murdered all of them?
I did.
You're an idiot.
Well, she was covered in blood and she had her like eyes bleeding like she just killed people.
Yeah, I know, but it's just as if obviously there had to be more to the story.
By the end, I was like, oh, they deserved it. That's why she killed them all.
That would be cool if they went down that route. She just fucking murdered them all, but no.
What about this whole thing of like Vecna? He like says to her, "Oh, you have to remember a hateful memory or something that makes you like angry or sad or whatever, and that's how you can get your powers back, kind of thing, or use your powers and be powerful." But then when she kills him or sends him to the Upside Down, she remembers being born, and that's how she like gets the power to defeat him. So it's like she's remembering something happy.
Well, in season 2. In the Nothing episode, they had a similar scene where her lost sister was like coaching her, and she also said like think of something that makes you angry. I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe she would rather think of something positive, or maybe she hates the fact that she was born.
It's going to end up being like a love versus hate. Which one?
No,
gives
or
you
is it
more
the
power?
fact that her mother was taken away from her at birth?
No, because it's her mother saying, "I love you."
Oh, is it?
So the whole thing is going to be Vecna uses the power of hatred and anger and whatever for his power. But Ella's going to use the power of love to defeat Vecna, and that's how it's going to end.
Is Vecna going to get killed this season? Or are they going to save him for the final season?
I feel like he's going to be killed. and then
You think it's just going to be 11 shows up, they both do this, they both point at each other,
Yep.
then one of them explodes.
something like that's going to happen.
And then next final season is just for Mind Flayer.
Yeah, they're going to like have maybe a cliffhanger again.
Well, yeah, there'll be a cliffhanger.
With like, you know, Vecna's dead and the Mind Flayer's there doing whatever.
He's really angry now.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely ramping up the like government conflict as well, and keeping that Russia storyline alive. I think means that there's probably going to be some direct.
I don't think the Russia stuff's going to have any involvement after this season. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah, but I think in this season, what's going to happen is Elle's going to be battling Vecna, she's going to be losing or whatever, and then either Mike is going to say he loves her,
Yes.
or Hopper is going to show up and she's going to find out he's still alive, and then she'll have the power to defeat Vecna.
She's going to find out he's alive and be so distracted that he just kills her. I think the Mike I love you thing is 100% coming back. Because
Obviously.
I watched back season 3. I thought he said it in season 3. He doesn't.
Oh.
Like, he very strongly implies it. And she says it to him, but we've never had him say it to her.
Yeah, well, that scene where she's yelling at him about it is
Yeah,
obviously going to have some
blatant
purpose.
setup. He's going to say, oh, you know, I really do. And he doesn't end up saying it, and then she does. But yeah, that'll be a big epic moment. And I think that the writer said something about how Finn Wolfhard is some like epic speech or something
Great. I hate
about
it.
how he much he loves Dungeons
I
and
hate-
Dragons.
I hate Mike so much.
I still like Mike.
He's
I
just
still
an
think he's-
asshole.
Yeah, I like assholes. Who's he been an asshole to this season other than Will?
Hell, by not just saying I love you. Like, how hard is
But he
it?
wouldn't mean it.
And like, he's literally, I bet you he's only going to say I love you after she comes back to the powers. Like, oh, she has the powers again, you know.
Yeah.
Now I love her. Only liked her from the beginning because she had powers. Like, wow, this is like Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, and also the fact it was probably the only girl in the world up to that point who'd given a shit about him.
Yeah.
This person who hasn't seen anyone else in her entire life. I was really worried after season 3 that they were going to make Susie like a main character in season 4 because like in season 2 they had Erica, Lucas's sister, and she had like 2 scenes. And, oh, she's so funny. It's like, okay, main character. She's a main character now. She has her own plot underground with the Russians. And I was really worried it was going to be like that again, but I don't know what the consensus on that singing scene is with her in season 3.
I hated it.
I feel like most people probably think it's funny.
It was so weird.
It was like I was rewatching yesterday. Like I said, it's not good at all.
No.
Especially when we're singing it and like Hopper's just there waiting to get the code, and he does not give a shit.
Yeah, and it just felt kind of like out of place, like a really tense, like serious scene. Like this is the climax of the show, and they just sing never-ending story. It's like, why?
Yeah, and they go like full on with it. Like they have the backing like instrumental and shit.
And they sing like the whole song.
I feel like Dustin may have been elevated this season to like full main character status, especially in that group. He just seems to have like all the answers when he needs to.
I mean, he's always been the main character.
Not the main character, as you were saying.
Well, yeah, he's definitely the brains of that group at least. Lucas has just been useless.
But Dustin's bad at Latin. He got like a D minus.
Oh yeah, he got Susie to change his grade.
Yeah.
In the first 2 episodes when Eleven's getting bullied. I know we already can't talk about that, but like the very first episode when she's doing her presentation and the bully character is being like the absolute worst person in the entire universe, comically so. She's like, I thought we had to do it about a real American hero or something.
Yeah, I really hated it because it's just like, why can't you just write it well? Like you had Steve in the first season who was like a realistic bully. Like he's like kind of an asshole, but he's not like a horrific person who just like is sadistic.
Especially for this show, which already like did such a good job at subverting that like trope.
Yeah.
And then kind of in season 2 as well with Billy, he was like kind of an asshole as well. I don't think we're gonna get a scene where Angela like goes home to her parents and they like hate her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's.
But even then, like it's just like she didn't act like a human.
Yeah, she's just a cartoon character.
Yeah.
And then like they made her that sort of like cartoonish, but then I think they were sort of expecting us to then be like, oh, 11 like went too far, but honestly I was completely on board.
Yeah, like the whole time I was waiting for her to just kill Angela and I would have been totally fine with it.
Yeah, same.
And then it's like all she does is smack her on the face and everyone's like, oh my god.
I mean, there was a lot of blood.
Oh, that scene where they like 11 was trying to use their powers was just
Oh my god, that scene was embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's
that was
so bad.
I cringed at it.
Well, I mean, you're meant to.
yeah.
They had that. They like showed that scene like before the season came out at like a Jimmy Fallon thing or something. That was like the first scene we'd seen of the season out of context. I don't know why they picked that one. The worst one. They should have shown the scene where she fucking murders over a roller skate. You think there's gonna be a scene where like 11, when she has her powers back, she like picks up a roller skate and throws it back up? Or when she like uses her mind or whatever to kill Vecna to make his head explode, she like thinks, "What's the worst thing ever?" And she thinks of Angela. And then she like summons like a giant roller skate. She picks up a piece of debris that looks a lot like a roller skate and smacks it into Vecna's face, and then he falls over and blood comes out of it. Is he just known as One before he was Vecna? Does he have any other name?
They do say his name, I think, but I can't remember what it was.
Jamie Campbell, whatever his actor's name. How did he go? I mean, they show his like transformation or whatever, and like he's all burnt up, but then he just suddenly becomes like. How does he go from that to covered in upside down stuff?
I don't know.
And the tentacles.
Like they didn't really bother with that part, I guess. Like it was kind of stupid. He's just like falling, and it's like
he's just flying around and that
guess,
scene. I mean, the CGI was really impressive, but also looked kind of stupid.
Yeah, and then he gets like struck by lightning, and like things like. It's like his clothes like burning away or something. It looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
But he still looks like a person, and then all of a sudden, he's got no nose, and he's like a bulging head.
Yeah.
And he's just covered in weird stuff.
I know it's the same actor, but I still can't really see that. It's like when it did like the smash cut from him to like Vecna. So I know it's the same guy, but I don't see like that's the same guy. Obviously, they couldn't make it too obvious because otherwise people would have figured it out.
Well, yeah. And he's so like horrifically deformed, but then he still has the tattoo on his arm. It's like
it was just under his tentacles, and they like move out of the way to show it says 001.
I doubt they'll explain it in too much detail, but like I suppose he has just been in the Upside Down basically since its creation.
Well, I'm not entirely clear on this. No one is. Maybe it'll still get explained, but is that when the Upside Down was created? Or did she just send him to the Upside Down?
Well, like they say, Dustin, who obviously doesn't really know anything about Upside Down anyway, it's like,
he says it's existed since the dinosaurs.
he said, I wouldn't be surprised if it predates the dinosaurs.
And Dustin's always right, so I'm just taking that as gospel.
That was just so stupid, because like, if you want to say, it predates the dinosaurs, why wouldn't you just say like, it like has existed since the beginning of the universe? Because like predating dinosaurs is like a few 100 million years ago.
Well, they need to have a funny part where Steve said dinosaurs. What are you talking about, bro? Speak English. I don't know what a dinosaur is. I'm Steve. I'm Steve Harrington. But yeah, the Upside Down gets a lot of expansion this season in terms of like what the hell it is and just stuff about it. Because in season 1 and 2, it was pretty big focus. In season 3, it's basically not even in it.
Yeah.
There's like one scene of Billy in the Upside Down, which is just like a vision or whatever. And then season 4, they really went in on it. And they have this kind of a giant revelation that it's been like frozen in time since Will went missing / when Elle opened the gate.
Yeah, I think that kind of explained one question that I had, and it's like, if everything in the real world is also in the Upside Down, it's like, how do you explain things moving? So like, if someone gets in the car and drives their car around, it's like, what happens to the car in the Upside Down? And so that kind of explains that like nothing moves because it's frozen in time.
Well, people have always speculated that the Upside Down's like what our world's going to be like in like 1 billion years or something. Like it's either really far in the past or really far in the future.
Yeah, that's dumb because it's like an exact carbon copy of the
that's
world.
Stupid. Although there is a bit of a plot hole, I think, because in season 1, when Joyce was doing the lights thing with the letters, how did Will know where the letters were? Because they wouldn't have been there. Oops. Oopsies. Whoops. They fucked up.
Yeah, I suppose the like two main Upside Down theories would be whether it had already existed and then paused at that moment, or whether the Upside Down is just like a snapshot of that time when 11 did it.
Well, it can't be, because she sent Vecna to the Upside Down way before 1983. But it's frozen then, not. I mean, but I'm sure they'll explain it or not.
There's going to be some super clever explanation at the end of the next season or something.
Something about Will getting shoved into the Upside Down or Elle opening the gate are what made it freeze.
Yeah.
There's also theories now that Vecna was actually the one who kidnapped Will, because apparently you can hear a clock ticking. Or like apparently in season 1 there's like a shot where you can see like the Demogorgon coming towards Will, but it's like super, like you can't really see it. And it looks like slightly shorter than what a Demogorgon would look like. So it's actually Vecna.
They're going to have like a scene in the next volume. It's like a flashback scene. And it's like in the background of all these scenes from the first 3 seasons. You see Vecna standing in the background.
Yeah, it would be like in Spider-Man Far From Home when it's like the Mysterio reveal where Tony Stark's talking about how he created like Bath or something, and then it like freeze frames and like zooms in and you can see Jake Gyllenhaal in the background.
No, it's going to be like the scene in Puss in Boots where you see Egg in the background of all the shots from the movie.
That'd be awesome.
Humpty Dumpty even.
Oh wait, no, we need to talk about Lucas's plot in the first 2 episodes with the jock characters.
Oh yeah.
Which was another thing I was not a fan of at all.
I mean, I thought it was kind of alright, the idea, like, of him trying to be more popular.
Well, yeah, that stuff's fine.
all the jocks.
I think it's more so the fact that it goes on for so long.
Yeah.
Like, it goes on until, like, the start, until the end of the third episode, which I know is only 3 episodes, but in runtime, that's like a million hours.
Yeah.
Because each episode's so long.
I also don't like how, like, that dude just, like, is insane with, like, his, like, weird religious stuff and, like, Eddie's a vessel for Satan or whatever.
I kind of like that just because it's like, I don't know, I'm sure there were people like that in the 80s and now.
Well, yeah, like the whole terror around D&D was like a very real thing.
Yeah, because Eddie the Freak Munson.
Yeah, but then, like, the whole township is kind of believing it.
Well, he had a very rousing speech.
Yeah, I hate how he has a speech, like, every episode. It's like, wow, he's a good public speaker, okay. It's like, just have a speech every episode that he's in.
Well, yeah, I have afterwards the Hawkins hunting down Eddie Munson and potentially the rest of the Hellfire Club, which is set up in episode 6 or 7, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Eddie, Jason just rocks up, and while the police are talking, everyone stops to look at him. He shows up, and the police guy just says one thing, he's like, "Oh, stop." And then he just lets him do this, like, 10-minute speech about
that
how
was really stupid.
Mike Wheeler and Eddie Munson and the rest of the Hellfire Club are Satanists.
Yeah.
And then, like, that was, like, so weird, that scene. And then after that, like, all the parents are, like, running around back to the Wheeler house, and then they're, like, interrogating Max and stuff.
I just didn't like any of the scenes where he did a big speech, because, like, it happened 3 times at least. Like, there was the one in the hall. There was the one where he talked to his jock friends about going and murdering Eddie Munson or something.
Yeah.
And then there was, like, the one in the basketball court. The one in the basketball court was the only one that was, like, made sense, because it was like a pep talk, but even though it was, like, really kind of fucked up, because he was, like, exploiting people's deaths to say, like, yeah, basketball. Yeah. It's like, wow.
Remember when Jim Hopper died in a fire?
Yeah.
Now let's win this basketball game. Also, is this against, like, another school, or is it just a school basketball game? Because this shit was, like, there was 100 million people there, and it was on the radio.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must have been a slow news day.
Surely Hawkins is not big enough for more than one high school.
Yeah.
So maybe
it is just Hawkins High.
Oh.
It's not, like, Hawkins Street High.
Maybe it's, like, a state level.
What do you think of that scene where Lucas does his, like, epic shot, and it's, like, 10 minutes long of it flying through the air, and it's intercut with, like, the D&D thing?
It was kind of weird. The whole, like, D&D thing was a bit like that scene where they're fighting Eddie or whatever. It was kind of weird. Yeah, they were, like, really stressed out and stuff, like, taking it really serious. Like it's just a game. It's literally just
no, that stuff's fine. They were doing the same thing in, like, season 1.
Yeah, but like the thing where they're like, oh, we should run away. It's like, what are you going to do in the game if you run away? Like, this is the end of the game. Obviously, everyone's dead. Just go for it. Like any normal person would do, but they're making, like, a really big thing, and it's like, obviously you're just going to try and see what happens.
Now you see, Erica rolled the dice, and that was the killing blow to Vecna in the D&D game.
Yeah.
Is this setting up Erica killing Vecna? Is she gonna, like, get a pair of dice, like Han Solo's dice from Millennium Falcon, like, swing them around and throw it at Vecna and, like, choke him to death?
No, she's gonna get dice and press him into his eyes and crush his eyes in like he kills his victims.
Oh my god, like the Mountain did to Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
That is something I'm worried about for this season, just having 11 come in and solve all the Vecna's problems, even though, like, the Hawkins gang have been doing all the heavy lifting this season.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about how their entire plan is we're going to find Vecna, kill him, and this will exonerate Eddie. First off, the public does not know who Vecna is.
They'll drag his body through
They're still going to want Eddie. And second, how do they plan on killing Vecna exactly? Are they going to throw fireworks at him again?
What I thought was, like, immediately, it was like they should have just handed Eddie to the police, and he would have been safe with them. And then as soon as another victim was killed, he would be exonerated because they know it wasn't.
That is a good plan. Yeah. But I didn't think.
Or they just say, like, another member of the Hellfire Club did it.
Well, maybe they all go to the police.
let's just sit in jail. I don't see how on earth Eddie's going to get exonerated unless
he dies.
Unless he dies, which is very likely, or what I think will happen in the last episode or last few scenes of the show is the Upside Down will somehow get exposed to, like, the entire public.
Uh-oh.
Something like the Upside Down's going to, like, break out and explode or something.
Maybe. Well, yeah,
because
there's, like,
it's kind of being set up with all the public is hunting down Eddie and they want to fucking murder him. So they're all out looking for him. I guess the government already knows about it. Everyone's going to meet up and they'll find out about it somehow. That's my prediction. And Ted Wheeler will say, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Ted's such a cunt.
Is it my bedtime yet? I like that scene when they, like, wake up at the Wheeler house, like, the next day after something, and they're all sleeping in the basement, and Dustin, like, goes upstairs. He's like, "Oh, can I have some waffles or whatever?"
Yeah.
And Ted's like, oh yeah, take as many as you want, sarcastically, and he
He's
just
like,
does.
he's like, take us for all we're worth.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Dustin's
yeah.
like, okay, he just takes all of them.
I do like how it's just never explained, like, all of these people just going in and out of a wheelhouse. Like, they got, like, Steve Harrington and shit sleeping in the basement.
It's because they're all friends with Nancy.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. Mike's not even there.
Yeah, I know. All Mike's friends are staying over when Mike isn't home.
I kind of wish Mike was just still with the rest of them. But obviously he needs to be in with California.
I'm glad that Mike is away from the main plot, because I don't like him.
Well, yeah, all the characters in the Hawkins plot are just... They're cool people.
Yeah.
All of their scenes are the good parts.
Yeah, they really got rid of all the characters I don't like and put them in California.
Let's talk about some specific characters for a second. Starting with who's pretty much like one of the mains this season is Max, who had obviously development in season 2 because she was like the new kid in town, along with Billy. And then season 3 she was just kind of there to stir up drama with Eleven and Mike.
Yeah.
And then season 4 they're like, okay, let's make Max a character now, and they did.
Yeah, I liked like having her have PTSD from Billy, but then it's like explains like, oh, it was just Vecna messing with her kind of thing.
Well, no, she still had like...
Well, yeah, but like the nightmares and stuff was Vecna.
Yeah, true.
And it was kind of like all these kids should have severe PTSD and trauma from all the stuff that's happened to them, but they're all just totally fine.
Yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous in terms of like characters finding out about the Upside Down at this point.
Yeah,
it's kind of unrelated, but it's like, oh, there's the Upside Down now, and then like they have that part where like Eddie and all the people go into the Upside Down, and there's no scene where Eddie's like, whoa, what's going on? He's just like, I'm here.
And surely for most of them it would have been their first time in there anyway.
Yeah, Robin had a bit. Nancy has been in there. I don't think Steve has. Nancy almost got fucking murdered by the Demogorgon in there in season 1.
Yeah. I thought Steve might die when he had that thing around his neck, because it's like he was just like, it wasn't letting go, and he was like just stuck there. It's like, what? He's just gonna die like this?
But back to the topic of Maxine, the best character this season possibly. What I want to see is, because she wrote like letters to everyone. She even gave one to Steve. What does Steve's letter say? What did she write to Steve?
Yeah.
Because they haven't really had any one-on-one scenes, but like...
I guess they had to have her like write letters to everyone, so it's not like, oh, she likes these people more than these people.
Well, she didn't write anything for Nancy or Robin or Jonathan.
Oh, I guess she doesn't really know those characters at all.
Yeah.
Where she hangs out with Steve.
Well, yeah, Steve's like... That's what's cool. It's not like just based off what we see in the show, because like it's a bit like between season 2 and season 3 is like 8 months or whatever, and then season 3 or 4 is like another 9 months or 3 years in real life.
They say a year in the show, like, oh, it's been a year, or like, oh, you've had a year to do this or whatever.
But I don't think it's been a year. I'm pretty sure it's been like 9 months or something.
Oh.
There's conflicting sources.
Well, like Elle says, like, oh, day 186 or something at the start.
Which is definitely not a year.
Yeah, when she's writing letters to Mike or something like that.
Well, I think that the season 3 mostly takes place like early July, and July 4 is like the big day. And then the scene where they move out, I think that's like 3 months later after that.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of tracks. But yeah, obviously she's been hanging out with Steve and all the gang for like ages now, so obviously they probably have a strong bond we just haven't really seen on screen.
Yeah.
I thought Max's home life was meant to be really shit for whatever reason, but then when she was saying like goodbye to her mum, it actually felt very like heartfelt, and like her mum was actually concerned.
Well, yeah. I think it's more so the fact that they just live in a shit trailer.
Yeah, like they don't really go into her home life that much in the other seasons. Like they hint at it, and like they have the scene where she's like.
Yeah, that's one thing I really wish I went more into in season 3. Like I wanted more scenes before Billy just became like the upside down person.
Yeah.
Like there's like no scenes.
Like they say like, oh, we have a bad home life. It's like, okay, show us.
If they show that one scene in season 2, but yeah, I really want to see like what the dynamic is at the Max household.
Because like we don't even see her mum until that like goodbye scene where like she's not actually even there.
She's in season 2.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, like her home life used to be way worse, but now her evil stepdad's left because Billy fucking died.
Yeah.
So now it's just her and her mum, and her mum's like a fine person, I guess. She just drinks all that. But yeah, Max is kind of basically the standout character for at least the first like few episodes, up to episode 4, obviously, and then after that she's just kind of part of the gang.
Yeah, I did find her a little bit annoying because she's being such an asshole, like seemingly for no reason at all.
Nah, she was good.
Like when Dustin was trying to get her to join the Hellfire Club, whatever.
that scene was fun.
I guess like the only reason they made her have PTSD is because she's the only one that's like lost a family member.
Yeah.
But then like Nancy lost Barb. Like they did bring that up when
they had an entire fucking plotline about that in season 2.
Did they?
The Justice for Barb thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
They definitely went into that, alright.
But was it like her having like PTSD over it and like being
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, and then she went on this whole escapade with Jonathan and Murray to like prove that the government killed her or something.
What?
It doesn't matter. we see Barb in this season.
Yeah, I know, because back in the it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you murdered her.
Yeah. Do you think they got the actress back?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, maybe I did.
Just like a
Hey,
slimy corpse.
Can you come over here and make it look disgusting for one shot? Because obviously coronavirus kind of massively fucking slowed down this season.
Yeah.
Because I heard David Harbour said, aka Hopper, he said that this season was meant to come out early 2021, and now here we are a year plus later. I thought the wait for season 3 was way too long. That was like a year and like 8 months or something. After season 2 came out like a year later from season 1. And then I was like, oh, maybe we can get season 4 by like end of 2020. What an idiot I was. Was it worth the wait though?
I mean, I wasn't really waiting for it.
Oh, yeah,
It just happened.
I wasn't like actively waiting for it every single day of my life, but it was in the back of my
You
mind.
definitely were.
Oh, I was.
You always brought it up.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh.
You bring it up all the time. It's like, oh. And then when it finally came, oh my god, it's happening. Season 4 is finally here. I'm like, oh, okay.
I liked the inclusion of Robert Englund this season.
Oh yeah, aka Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, which obviously was apt with the dream shenanigans.
Yeah, because this is straight up just like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, they're not even trying to hide it. They're like, oh, the like official Netflix Twitter post or something. He's like, oh, did you notice any similarities with Friday the 13th? Because no, not Friday the 13th.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, Nightmare on Elm Street. Because guess what? It was the Duffer Brothers' biggest inspiration for this season. I'm
But
shocked.
with Friday the 13th, surely that's Jason with the hockey mask, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jason, the jock guy.
Oh my
I
god!
bet you he's gonna have a hockey mask and a machete and then come and try and kill Eddie Munson.
and there was a thing over a lake, Lover's Lake. Jason comes out of the lake.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like having the whole asylum plot did lead to some moments that I thought were a high point in the season with Nancy and Robin.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the new dynamic duo this season, because I always got to have a new dynamic duo or trio. Nancy and Robin, which is a character pairing I was definitely hoping for.
I was kind of expecting, because like Robin's a lesbian and like Nancy's having problems with Jonathan, I was kind of expecting them to have like a lesbian love plot between Nancy and Robin.
I'm glad they did not do that. Robin can do way better than Nancy.
Like that random character that's in the band.
Yeah, they had that whole thing about how, what was her name? Tammy Thompson. They had that thing in season 3.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh my god, Tammy Thompson's so hot or whatever, but she can't sing.
Yeah, they bring her back in this season as a joke to sing, and then she's into that other random girl.
Well, yeah, because they're much more teeing up Steve and Nancy than they are.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Nancy and Jonathan, I guess, their long distance relationship is not going as planned. Her and Jonathan were going to go to the same college or something.
Yeah.
But Jonathan wants to go to like a different one.
Or is it he doesn't want to go to university at all? Or no, he's going to like a community college.
I think he just wants to go somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's had a line where he's like, I don't want to like live a life that isn't mine or follow a dream that isn't mine or something.
Or was it he wanted to stay close to his family, like in California? Like,
Well, yeah, that was also a factor. Like, oh, I just can't leave mum and stuff.
because like our guy was like, oh, you're going to the same place as me, so I'm assuming it's like right next to where they are. And then Nancy wants to go to some other fancy school or something.
Yeah, she wants to go to like art school.
Yeah, and so for whatever reason, he's like not telling her and like putting it off. And I thought they were gonna like maybe just like bring them back together and be like, oh, we'll work it out and we'll be fine. But then it's like, no, she's got to go with Steve.
Well, there's still 2 episodes left. I mean, we still got to have that part where all the characters come together like they always do. I was wondering if Hopper and stuff would even get back to like the rest of the crew this season, but there's still like 10 hours left of footage. Of time, so they'll probably get back. I don't see having to stretch out their escapade in Russia for 2 more episodes,
I'm
unless
sure
there's some new thing going on there.
Dimitri's definitely gonna die.
He's fucking toast. No, he's gonna be a new main character.
Poor Dimitri.
The new dynamic duo next season, Argyle and Dimitri. And Joyce and Hopper will adopt him, and he'll be part of a happy family of rejects. Why is Jonathan fumbling like Nancy when he's like the ugliest drug addict I've ever seen? He looks so bad this season.
Yeah, he's just like a druggo or
And,
everywhere.
yeah, he's just and I think he's still meant to be in high school as well, which is highly distracting.
Is he? Oh yeah, I guess he'd be like 18.
Well, yeah, they had that scene with him and Argyle, and they're in like a woodwork shop or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's at the school.
Yeah.
And they show like him and Argyle like walking into the high school with Noah Schnapp and...
Yeah, I swore that like Nancy and Jonathan had finished school last season
Yeah,
because they were working for the
it's-
paper.
No, I think that might have because season 3 was during the school holiday. But then also Nancy is working for like the school paper in season 4.
Yeah.
It's just weird seeing, because now the younger gangs in high school, seeing like Will and Elle in the same school as Jonathan, who's 80 years old.
Yeah.
It's distracting. What's going on with Steve this season other than Nancy? What's his character this season? What's his character progression at this point? Just being around.
Yeah, he's exactly the same character as he was before.
Just really learning his place in society.
Like, he's doing exactly the same things as he did before, like having to take care of all the kids and
I
stuff.
mean, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Steve is still the best character by far, but they were getting a bit too fourth wall breaky. Like, he literally says, "Oh my god, I'm always the babysitter, guys,"
Yeah.
on like 2 or 3 separate scenes. That just felt way too winky face.
But then that one time he wasn't the babysitter, and he like went into upside down or was died.
When the last episode ended, Nancy was in the process of being like possessed by
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
yeah.
Nancy seems like she is dead meat right now. There's many different ways that this could go. Steve could save her and die. Nancy could just die. Eddie could die and save her. Or no one will die in that situation and then someone will die later on.
Ooh, yeah, at that point I think it was like just in her head, because he was like showing her stuff. So maybe...
Yeah, Nancy had no reason to be in like those flashback things.
Yeah, maybe it'll follow that like progression of Vecna needing to like gain power over someone.
Yeah, this is her first.
Oh yeah,
flashback,
because Max said they died like 2 or 3 days after their first vision.
Yeah.
The other people.
But they are closer, and like Vecna also said something about getting stronger every time he kills somebody.
Yeah, Patrick like got killed in his first vision thing.
No, he had other vision.
Yeah, he had
Did
a
he?
bit of a build up.
Yeah, they
Well,
set
no,
it up.
he heard things, but he didn't like
Or
actually.
maybe we
like,
just didn't see him.
it.
Well, we know Chrissy saw shit.
Yeah.
And so did Fred. I was really worried Fred was going to become like a main character. He was so annoying. What were you guys' thoughts on the visuals this season, the cinematography or whatever, compared to the previous seasons? Because the budget for this season has been quite outrageous. It was like $90 million an episode or something. I mean,
Honestly, I think it's like much less striking than season 3, but season 3 was also kind of like
season 3 was like neon.
wacky color palette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scoops Ahoy and all that stuff.
And like the underground Russian base is like bright blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely like less striking color, which was disappointing. And I also found the effects to not be too great, especially when people were getting like Vecna.
It was just
It
ridiculous.
just didn't look that great to me.
I thought it looked
The way
fun.
their faces looked like so cartoonish when their jaw breaks and stuff.
Plus, like, obviously the color palette won't be as bright because, as they repeatedly said in the marketing, this is like the darkest, scariest season yet. Were you guys scared at any point?
No.
No.
I didn't think it was nearly as dark, but I think I saw a quote recently about like the last episode overall, and it is meant to have like, they said, oh, it will be an hour of like non-stop everything going to
they
hell.
said the last episode has more VFX shots than all of season 3,
Oh,
which
no.
just seems unreasonable. Let's talk what's going on in Volume 2 predictions. Some kind of epic battle in the Upside Down, I'm guessing, because we see Eddie Munson going at his guitar in the Upside Down, which is probably him about to die. He plays the guitar to save someone, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was going to say before, like, he's like in the caravan where his guitar is, unless he took it, but I can't remember. But like, he could just easily just play a song
Yeah.
to help save someone. My prediction is that they go to Vecna's house in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
And they beat him there.
Well, because I think their plan was to like wait until he's trying to manipulate someone, because then he'll be like all tentacled in and then just like putting a stake through him, which obviously isn't going to work out.
I think that was just something Lucas or someone came up with on the fly.
Although, like, they made it really obvious that, like, his whole thing is, like, being in his attic, in his house, because where he was when he was a child, and it's like, oh, he goes there to, like, get his victims or something, like, oh, he could be vulnerable at that point. So, because it's really obvious, maybe they're going to do, like, you know, subvert it and say, like, oh, actually, no, you can't do that.
What I'm most curious about is how Hopper and stuff will fit into the final episode. If they're just going to get back and just be part of the gang, or when Elle gets back, you think they're going to fight in the Upside Down, or...
I have no idea. I don't even know if Elle will actually, like, fight him, or actually be the one that defeats him.
They're 1,000,000% going to fight. Doesn't mean he's going to get killed.
Yeah. Like, maybe she'll fight him, and something, like, happens, and she can't be the one that defeats him, and then, like, and Lucas's little sister will come along.
Kill him with dice. I was thinking there might be a possibility that this season ends on like a straight up cliffhanger and there won't be a time jump for next season, which will obviously be distracting with actors' ages, but then I saw the Duffer Brothers saying that they want to do a time skip to like make the actors' ages less noticeable. So I don't know. It might be the same as
Great.
like season 2 where it ends.
They're going to defeat him, close all the gates, and there's going to be another 3 years of like, yeah, we're going to have lots of fun times, whatever. They all grow up, and like they show like compilations or something at the start of the season, and then it's going to be like, oh no, there's another monster again.
There's more gates.
Wow, another murder.
Oh my god.
And they're still playing Dungeons and Dragons in their early 20s in the monk's basement.
I mean, how old is Eddie Munson? Did they say he's been in high school for like 20 years?
He got held back at least once, maybe twice. So
Maybe
like,
3 times.
He's like 20 years old or something.
How is this guy a D&D nerd and also can't pass high school?
Did you see like one of those other members of the club though, who just like looked like he must be 55 years old?
Maybe.
Was that one that had like facial hair or something?
Yeah.
And he's like a big boy.
I know, everyone always talks about how bad the actors' ages are for like the kids, but I don't really find it that distracting, except for Will.
I didn't find it that bad. Surely they're meant to be like 15.
Well, they said at some point it's only been like 2 years since season 1. When you look at it that way, it's pretty bad. But
Oh.
Either way, I don't find it that distracting.
yeah, I don't find it distracting. It's just when you compare the seasons, that's when it's really obvious.
Because having gotten out of school like not that long ago, people are a real mixed bag sometimes.
I feel like Mike looks way older than he should.
Yeah, Dustin looks fine.
Yeah.
Lucas looks fine mostly. Max looks the same basically. And then you got like Erica, who was like a baby in season 2. Who's the best character out of the kids?
I think I'm going to say Dustin on that one.
Yeah, Dustin's terrible in season 2 though.
Yeah, I must say, like, I hated him throughout the whole series until this season where he
Really?
just starts to...
He was fine in season 3.
He just annoyed me a bit.
You really hated his teeth condition.
I know, in season 1 I thought they were all fine, except for Mike, who I hated from the beginning. And then I guess in season 2, like, I don't really like Lucas that much. And yeah, I guess Dustin would be my favourite from then on.
You know who's no one's favourite? Will.
Oh.
Especially the writers. He was like the main MacGuffin in season 1 and 2 basically, and then after that they just had no idea what to do with him.
Yeah.
Let's make him lust after Mike.
He's
Let's predict right now what's in that painting.
I have no clue. Yeah.
like,
Is it either going to get revealed or is he just going to throw it in the trash?
well, there's plenty of things that it could be, but like not things that I think that actually put in the show. Like it's not going to be
Porn.
him like it's not going to be him like any naked stuff or him kissing Mike or something like that.
I think it might just be a picture of Mike.
Maybe it'll just be like all the friends together in the painting because like they're doing a big thing like theme of like friendship or something, like the power of friends.
It could be a picture of them all playing D&D, or it could just be like a portrait of Mike
It's just a big
drawn
cock.
from memory. Or yeah, it's Mike's.
It's a giant cock.
Well, yeah, it could always just be implied, like that you see them rolling it out, but you only like see it from the backside.
Yeah, and you just see
their
Mike. You
reaction.
just see Mike's horrified reaction. I will say this: every scene with Will and Mike where they sit down and there's like somber music playing, I was like, oh no, is this going to be the scene where he tells him he's gay? Thankfully, none of those were the scene, but that scene's still coming.
I don't know if he's gonna like actually come out or if he does. I don't know if he'll be like I'm gay.
Yeah, the
It'd be
actor
more
Noah
subtle.
Schnapp was being a bit of a cheeky cunt in the interviews. He was like, oh, I don't know. Like Will's sexuality is like up to interpretation or something, and I think that's wonderful. Even though he's very, very obviously gay for Mike.
Like, or that scene where he's in the classroom, the girl puts her shoe up his pants, and he like just in disgust, like pulls the leg away.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in the past, it was also like a possibility he was just asexual.
Yeah, they could do that, but I don't know. He definitely wants Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also for all those flashback scenes, they have like some other actress, like a younger one to play young Elle.
Yeah.
But for most of the scenes, it's just normal Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I mean, obviously they want to preserve like Millie's performance or whatever, and they couldn't afford to CGI de-age her for every single scene because the budget's already up a wazoo. So they just do this weird thing where like you see young Elle in like a window or a mirror,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird.
It makes sense, like, contextually, because they're, like, reliving it as their...
Yeah, true.
lots of
true.
context.
Did you like when they had the orderly like helping her out and stuff?
Oh yeah, those scenes were fine.
Did you see what was coming?
I did not see that. I did not predict he was going to be a bad guy until like when they're escaping, and he says like when she like takes a thing out of him, and he says some line about how like, oh, that limited me or something.
Yeah.
And I instantly
He
knew.
said it reduced, like it made me weaker or something.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I was like, oh, he's going to be he's going to be number one, but I didn't think he was going to straight up be fucking Vecna. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I think the time just seemed a bit, like, fuzzy to me with his age and, like, Creel. Was that his name?
It was a 20-year gap from him murdering his family to the massacre at Hawkins Lab. Yet another massacre at Hawkins Lab. Everyone's always dying there.
There's either demodogs running around or people with superpowers or place our bets right now. Which deaths are going to happen?
I don't know. Any of them could die, really.
Well, yeah, but
Like,
just say
do you
something.
mean this season or
This season.
Okay.
This season.
Well, definitely not Elle,
Not Elle.
not Mike. Probably none of the main children characters.
Yeah. None of them.
Like, I thought they might have killed Max, but then they didn't. So they're not.
Some people are still saying that Max could still die, but no.
No,
That's,
the opportunity is gone.
yeah, Lucas will kill himself.
I reckon Jason will die because he's a crazy psycho person.
Episode 8 is called Papa. Episode 9 is called The Piggyback. I don't know what the fuck that means. But episode 8, Papa, Brenner's toast. He's so dead.
I don't know.
I don't see what else he could possibly add to the show at this point.
Maybe either Elle will kill him, or the military will come and Brenner will like sacrifice himself to save Elle, and there'll be like a mini redemption. For
I
his
don't want him
character.
to be. I just want them to come and just execute him. Just shot to the head.
But like his whole thing was like talking to Elle. It's like, oh, you have to accept like the good part of yourself and the bad part of yourself to become whole. Like you're not like a monster or whatever. Like everyone is a little bit evil and like a little bit good. So it could be like, oh, he's an awful, terrible person, but then he does something good.
Oh, yeah, I could say that. Also, Dr. Owens, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I don't really like him anymore after
Yeah,
he...
no.
After he
I like him,
bamboozled Elle like that.
and then he's just like a terrible person for no reason.
Yeah. But he's still kind of like, oh, you're being pretty mean to her, and then he just does nothing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone in that lab's just toast.
Yeah, I don't
that lab's getting fucked. Either by 11 or by the military.
Yeah.
Obviously 11 won't die.
They all deserve it anyway. Just a bunch of weirdos.
It was so weird because when she first rocks up there with Owens before they see Brenner, he's like, oh, all these people here, like, they're here because they believe in you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, the guards later on when she tries to run away, they're like laughing at her.
Yeah, they just want to beat her up.
So, oh, let's not do this again. Either Steve or Eddie will die. I'm leaning more towards Eddie.
From like a meta perspective, if any of the kids were going to die, I'd probably say it's going to be Mike, just because of how like against how public like Finn Wolfhard is as a person. Like I've seen clips of people like trying to talk to him in public, and he's just like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, I feel like Finn Wolfhard does not give a shit about the show.
Well, yeah, just like committing to anything when you're like that young, and then being there for years.
Why is he complaining? He's getting paid loads of money.
I mean, I don't think he's complaining. He's just like, he's ready to move on.
I'm curious about like Netflix. Like, do actors get royalties on these shows or ongoing because of how it works?
I don't reckon.
I mean, my only other thought is just like hard to discuss because it's all just speculation. But like, what was Vecna just doing in there for 4 years or more?
Just waiting.
Yeah.
Just waiting, not killing anyone.
Like, yeah, they explained why between the murder of the family and him being sent to Upside Down, there was no murders because he was...
Yeah, Steve questioned that, and that was definitely explained.
But then there was another 7 years of nothing.
Yeah,
I guess I would just say, like, oh, he was too weak until something. Like, who was Chrissy was the first victim. Yeah, like, it's just out of nowhere. Like, oh, Chrissy is possessed because reasons.
because, he got sent to the Upside Down, but he wasn't, like, fully Vecna immediately. He was still kind of, like, he was just, like, kind of burned up and weird. Maybe he didn't fully become, like, super evil Vecna man until, like, then. He didn't get his mind powers.
Well, yeah, maybe he had to like eat tentacles to survive at some point. Just like eat some and then it got inside of him.
Do we think that Vecna is under the influence of the Mind Flayer, or is his own...
Well, yeah.
individual
Dustin theorizes that the Mind Flayer's the top dog, and Vecna's his 5-star general.
Yeah.
And then the Demogorgons are, like, foot soldiers. Is that accurate? I don't know.
Who knows?
I feel like the Mind Flayer's still got to be Final Battle Season 5.
Some people have said that they think that Vecna's like the top person in charge of everything, but it's just like, no.
I mean, the Mind Flayer's bigger, so...
It goes both
Vecna's
sides.
way more cool. I mean, the Mind Flayer, we don't really... It's just a giant thing in the clouds. How are we
Yeah.
even going to fight that?
Yeah, but it looks cool.
It does look very cool.
My like 2% chance of happening theory, actually it's probably 1 or less, is just them playing music to Vecna in the Upside Down to try and get him to like become a bit more of a person because he has been influenced by...
True, but he was still a cunt before...
Well, he was just a bit of a mad killer, you know? He'd been in captivity and resented these people, but
Yeah,
like,
so he murdered everyone. He murdered all the children.
yeah.
And no one
But
else.
he was evil when he was a little baby as well, when he was like killing all those animals and stuff.
I really hope he doesn't just get blown up by 11 this season.
They're going to show Vecna the power of love, and he's going to turn good. And he's going to help them fight the Mind Flayer. He's like a rotting dead person.
I really don't want to end on 100% victory and just repeat, and then next season's like more shit, like new shit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it can't be like Vecna wins, because I highly doubt Season 5 is going to be right after. There's going to be a year time jump again, like
Yeah.
usual.
I really hope they don't have it with like, oh, Elle is dead again, or Elle lost her powers again,
No,
or is Hopper dead again?
I swear to God, if Steve dies and then they bring him back next season, I'm gonna kill myself.
I found Jason a bit stupid because like when the like Jock was dying in the water, Eddie was clearly looking like horrified.
Yeah, I thought that would
like
be the
shocked.
scene where Jock's like, "Whoa, there's bigger things going on," but no, he was like, "Eddie uses satanic powers."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's like kind of makes sense because it's the best way you could rationalize it because there's not anything about the Upside Down or anything like that, obviously. And he already thinks that like Eddie is a crazy psycho person who like breaks people's bones and whatnot. And then he sees that when Eddie happens to be the only other person there, he knows that he's not.
I doubt he was looking too closely at Eddie's facial expressions and like at like nighttime. But yeah, my main prediction for end of this season is Upside Down gets exposed to the rest of Hawkins.
Finally.
I saw a thing. One of the directors of the show, Sean Levy, he is the guy who directed Free Guy and the Adam Project, which both star Ryan Reynolds. And he said he said he wants a Ryan Reynolds cameo next season.
Great.
We got to talk about after season 5 ends and everyone forgets about Stranger Things immediately. Are they gonna in 10 or 20 years bring him back for It Chapter 2 but Stranger Things?
Possibly.
It just seems like way too big of an opportunity.
Yeah, when all the actors are in like their 30s and
Yeah,
stuff.
and Finn Wolfhard will be like the Harrison Ford. Like he won't want to.
Yeah, then they'd have like nostalgia on top of nostalgia.
Yeah. I was gonna say like after like all the TV show, they're gonna have a movie at the end kind of thing.
I mean, they already have movie-length episodes.
Yeah,
so
but it's gonna be a 3-hour
not a
movie.
stretch.
I can't get over the fact that the next episode's like a long movie, like 2 hours 20 minutes. You know, I see when I see a movie that's longer than 90 minutes, I like go ew, but I'll happily watch a 2.5 hour episode longer episode of Stranger Things. So overall, where would this season go comparative to the other ones, Bailey?
Third place. I think I go 2, 3, 4, 1.
One
In
last?
order, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't really know because I haven't seen the first 3 seasons for several years. But season 4, probably number 3.
Season 4 is kind of like if season 3 was... It's like the same kind of things as season 3, but done properly, kind of. It's not like ridiculously stupid. So that's all we have to say about Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 4. We'll be back in a month to talk about the last 2 episodes of the season, but until then, thanks for watching/listening.